JKB back with another episode. Today I'm reviewing ARMS for the Nintendo Switch. Thank you so much to Nintendo for letting me have this copy. It really does mean a lot that Nintendo supports me on the show. Now, in saying that, I gotta also say, I reviewed this long time ago. I tried to upload it 4 or 5 times, and I'm so busy now that I just don't have time to do this. So I've come back because I couldn't get my video cleared with provided footage from Nintendo. Does that frustrate me? Yes, I'll be honest. However, it's not always Nintendo of America's fault or Nintendo Canada's fault. I just want to say that Nintendo, you gave me the game, yet I can't put my footage from my review in it. Even when I do it for 10 seconds at a time, it just gets flagged, which is just doesn't make sense to me. But in saying that, I also have to say, if those are the rules you want to play by, that's completely fine, and I just won't put footage of your games in your first-party reviews. And that, to be honest, is less work for me. So I'm going to say right off the bat, this game is fucking amazing. I had no idea what to expect when I first saw this, because you see these characters on screen, and you know, Nintendo always has this ability to show us something that looks completely absurd and looks just like horseshit. And then you play it, and it's the opposite, complete opposite. They've taken something, turned it on its head, and introduced a new series that I hope goes on for a long time. I mean, this game is so addictive once you get into it. I have to say, it's like a must-own if you own the Nintendo Switch. Let me tell you what it's about. I'm going to do this review obviously a little differently because I'm not showing footage. I'm just going to tell you, it's like if you took Punch-Out and just extended the arms on the characters and put it into a 3D space, but then introduced customizable, I should say, gloves. So the way you customize this really is by switching the gloves out there on the characters. So it's a very simple mechanic. You walk around by moving the analog stick on a Pro controller or using the actual Joy-Cons with motion controls. Now, there are 2 different ways to play the game: motion controls or Pro controller. I played with Happy Console Gamer with the Pro controller, and let me tell you, when you get into it, it works so well and it's flawless. Then I played with the motion controls, and that has a bit of a learning curve, but once you get into it, it's just as fun as using a Pro controller. So the people out there that have kids that want to use, you know, the Joy-Cons with their kids in the living room, they're going to have a blast with that. But the pros out there, I'm not, you know, and I don't mean I'm a pro, I'm just saying I beat everybody I play against, all of them. Even 8-Bit Eric, who thought he was hot shit and I killed him. Yeah, you can use the Pro controller as well. So the people out there worried about just using motion, don't worry. Motion does work. However, you're going to have to kind of get used to it, because when you throw a punch, you have to wait for the actual arm to be sent out and boom, connect or miss. The other cool thing about the game is, and this is where the level of strategy really comes into it, is when you throw a punch, you can curve it. Because it's essentially a boxing glove that's sent through the air on a spring, you can curve them in ways you couldn't do in a normal fighting game. This is where the customized gloves that go on the ends really come into play, because there are so many of them which you can unlock by gaining points in the game. So the more you play this and beat the campaign mode, the more points you get to go unlock this sort of mini game where you're punching through targets. Yeah, I'm not going to explain it, but you can unlock tons of gloves for all, you know, 10 characters. I think there's maybe 10 characters. Yeah, maybe there's more. That's where it kind of sucks I can't show you the footage, but I wanted to talk about the game. I have to say, pros for this game are the level of strategy involved in this game is absurd. It is absurd. Once you start to understand the blocking, the powering up of your gloves, because you can actually block by holding the motion controllers together like this, or on the Pro controller, you just hold in the analog stick, he does the block move. When he does the block move, he actually charges his gloves, which put elements onto it. So there's fire and there's ice. Once you get into that, there's also electricity, and then you can kind of see where this is going. It's going to be a learning curve for a lot of people. But once you get into the game, I have to say, it is very, 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 I mean, rewarding to play this game. Pros and cons. Pros have to be, strategy is there. It's not just a simple, let's throw gloves at each other and that's it. The strategy level is absurd. I mean, it's really, the depth is here. I'm very happy with that. Second of all, the characters seem kooky. When we first saw these characters, we thought, okay, I'm not into this. I'm not really into this. The characters are lovable. There's a sort of a mythology that's behind the scenes that we don't really know about, but they're like on Twitter, they're giving details about it, and it's so fun learning about these things. You know, I'm 36 now, and I'm like, what? Like, they're all wearing masks? I was always like, why are all the characters wearing masks? But the masks actually turn these people's arms into the arms you see. So I was like, what? It was like this weird mythology that you can go figure out on your own. In-game, though, there's no story mode, which is a bit of a letdown, but not really, because it's just simply boxing with a huge level of depth. But in saying all of that, very short. I mean, you go through all the boxers, and there's something at the end, which I won't give away. Free DLC is coming out for this. That's spectacular. I have to say, like, the cons are, it's like, it's very bare bones at the moment, but it's just boxing. So I don't know if that's a con or not. I have to say, as a fan of Nintendo and a fan of the Switch, this is such an amazing experience to play on the go. I'm going to give this a solid 8 out of 10. I'm really happy with it. Thank you, Nintendo, for sending it over, and thank you for watching my review. It looks amazing. It plays amazing. It's a fun game. If you have children, you're going to have a blast with them. If you have your bros coming over, you can really have a great time with them. It is a lot of fun. Thank you so much for watching this, and hope in the future I can include Nintendo footage.